No, I can't see. It's because you got on camouflage.
Don't upset me. But see, anyways, this is why I be ready to be. You got it this time around?
The intro? Never.
Okay.
No. The best you get out of me is a year.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Forever Engaged. I had to make sure. I know. Because my mic was going on. Okay. You got all the goofies out? I'm just making sure. Okay. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Forever Engaged. That's where the clapping's supposed to do. We have a guest today.
Hello, Reverend Deacon Dr. Bishop.
All right. We have with us Pastor Jason Robinson from Reach Church of Ann Arbor. Ypsi, Ann Arbor. It says Reach Ann Arbor. That's why. Yeah.
I ain't know that.
That's what he
All of that.
All of that.
Ypsi Ann Arbor.
Y'all ready? Ready. Okay. So don't be nervous.
I'm good.
Okay. All right. You good? All right. So today, usually we have lighthearted conversations. Today we're talking about divorce.
In the church.
Divorce in the church. Each of us are divorcees. Divorcee, whatever. But I don't know the word.
Everybody in here been divorced in the church.
So, yeah, let's get it.
Technically not. Did your ex go to church?
I was in church. He might not have
Okay.
been in the church.
Okay.
I was in the church, so that's why mine counts as being
You
divorced
get a half a point.
in the church.
You get a half a point.
And y'all could be in the church and not be
That's
in the
true.
church because
That's true.
Okay, be very clear on.
That's true.
Yeah, but your story is different. You're a pastor, our pastor, and
Yes.
and you got divorced while you were in ministry. So, can you talk a little bit about it, like wherever you feel comfortable?
Well, yeah. I mean, I did get divorced while pastoring. I don't know what else to say about it other than, the Bible says that God hates divorce, right? There are reasons that God releases us from marriage. Like, we talk about the three A's, right? Abuse, adultery, abuse, adultery, and abandonment. Meaning like you got one person who just doesn't want to be in the marriage anymore. They leave the marriage. God releases us from that. But yeah, it was a difficult.
I did not know that was the reason.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
So, difficult season, but God can make all things new. We've all been through it before. We are all survivors of it and on the other side, of it. And so yeah, it's it's like any other challenge. I always say it like this. We all got to go through something.
Right.
Yeah.
We just happen to have that opportunity to go through that. So you take it, you learn from it, and then you just move forward. So yeah.
I do have a question. It just popped in my head.
Okay.
So I've been, I guess, going to your church for what, 7 years? 6, 7 years now?
Well, it's a difference between when you played at my church.
Okay, I've been
and when
playing
you
for
start
6 years.
Going to my church,
And I've been a member for about,
When we got together.
so.
I wasn't responsible for you for a few years. So.
That's true. So 3 years. I've been a member for 3 years. But I'm not going to say, like, I know you, but I feel like I know you enough to know, like, if your mood or anything is off. So my question is, did the divorce affect your ministry? Because me personally, I couldn't tell.
Oh,
Well, ministry.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So, I think some people have a testimony like, hey, they went through a horrible marriage, and that's not my testimony. I was married to a great woman. What happened. Some decisions was made. We no longer married, whatever. But yeah, it affected me. Number one, I got divorced shortly after the pandemic. So, things were kind of already in a upheaval. And then in 2019, 2020, we just kind of had a lot of people leave the area that were really the core of starting our church, kind of being the core of our church anyway. So that was difficult. And then, kind of after divorce, because of the situation I was in, I just didn't have the time to put into the church like I did before.
Right.
And, I'm going to be honest with you, man. People talk about, and we know now, right, God is blessing Reach. We just talk about it's packed every Sunday again. And, I praise God for that. But there is a favor when you have a wife that you don't when you don't have a wife. So, that help, and all those different things. So, absolutely. I think that I think God gave me a specific grace during that period of time to, put on a good face. Not in a good, not that I was faking, right, but truly like he was my strength during that time. And to minister,
effectively. A lot of times you look at somebody like, they're going through it. You look like what you're going through. Yeah. And that announcement, I was shocked. You weren't there.
Yeah, I did. I was watching it live because you guys were shut down. Only the musicians and the singers were there with you guys. But you did take time for yourself after that. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, the whole story or whatever is like it. I honestly wanted to step down from ministry. Just because, just to be transparent, I felt like I had failed as a husband and failed in ministry or whatever. So I was ready to get a church up, and I had this big plan of transitioning. And really, it was just some key people, mentors, my father in the ministry and others who just spoke into me like, God's not through with you yet. And, to come out on the other side of it, obviously God wasn't through with me yet. But, yeah, man, no, I wanted to pack my bags, go back to Gary. You know what I'm saying? And just, just do me or whatever. But, I'm like, I'm good on ministry. But with that being said, God knows everything, and sometimes you just got to trust him. So I had to trust him like I preach it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like, them that wait upon the Lord, he shall renew your strength. I had to be that during that season. And every time I felt like not going to the pulpit, I had to, okay, this is the scripture that I need. I need to exemplify this. And, supernaturally, God just did what, I believe what I could not do. So during that season, so yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it affected me like anybody else.
Yeah, everybody got that testimony. No. Mine was messy. Yeah. Messy on top of being at a messy church, so that made it 10 times worse.
I do feel like having your church ministry around you and how that affects your divorce, like how your family and your church play into it, because your marriage also kind of was based on because you guys had a child and you guys were in the church that y'all were like, you got to get married and now when everything separates and you guys are getting divorced, I also feel like
it was side picking.
Yeah, and also I feel like it was no accountability to the families that were involved, because for example, in my community, being Nigerian and things like that, if people's kids are traditionally, if your kids are getting married and they're getting together, your family is more involved in, I guess, with the process and with your marriage and with you. So there isn't a picking of sides. When my parents were going through divorce when I was younger, my grandparents came from Nigeria. They stayed with us. They were talking to my parents. There was constant conversations, prayer and talking before, it got too destructive, because there were outside things, but before it got too destructive to lead to divorce, the family came together to try to shield, my parents and give them that covering and, try and meet with them. But these new age divorces,
people, they act like they only care about the kids and get every dime you can out of that man. That's it.
That's not every situation.
It's not.
It's not, because that's not me, but that's not every situation. But
you for sure a rare breed. For sure.
No, because, Pastor Jay was with me when I was going through divorce, because he was giving counseling to us while we were married, And then after that, when I was open and I told him, like, it's abusive at this point. So then you told me, like, there are 3 reasons why you can get a divorce. And you straight up told me, and this is one of those reasons. And so it came into counseling, like, separation, essentially. Like, we had sat in office and made, like, a schedule. I don't even know if you remember, but we made a schedule, like, oh, we're going to have the kids this day, that day, and we pick it out. So if we do go to court and go down that lane, it doesn't have to get too messy. And, I mean, it still got messy regardless. But
see, that's realistic, because when we was going through counseling, our old pastor said I would be dumb if I left her. I said, what?
I don't think.
And, I mean, so far it's been the best decision I've made, but
Right.
yeah, it's crazy.
Why you look at her?
I mean, they're really the only people that's hurt is the kids. Well, my boys. My daughter don't even ever remember us being together. But it's my boys. But they good now.
Yeah. We create a positive environment for the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like, regardless, the work never stops. Whether you go through divorce or married. I mean, you just got to continue to work. Especially if you got kids. Kids involved or whatever. So, just because you get divorced, you still have to work to create that environment. That the kids thrive and there's a level of mutual respect. Now, like I said, not everybody's situation is like mine. And I admit that, my situation is a little unique. I don't really have any drama with my ex, and, we communicate what we need to for the effectiveness of the, raising our children. But, but at the end of the day, it's all about the work, just working to make sure that they are, safe, secure, all those things, whatever you got to do that. And then some people have ended relationships to make sure the kids are safe, secure, and in an environment where they can thrive. So, it just kind of is what it is.
So,
what age did you guys get married the first time?
I was 21. She was
21.
20.
I was 23. He was 25 at the time.
I was 25 or 26. So 20, I think I just turned. I was 26. I'm 26.
Yeah. That 4 years happened too fast. I graduated at 18. She got her. She was pregnant when I was 19. Had my oldest at 20. Married at 21. That was a blur. Divorced at 26.
Divorced at 26?
Divorced at 26.
Okay. All right. I was trying to do the math.
It was 27, but divorced at 26. I was gone at 26.
Okay.
I moved out at 26. And it was during the pandemic. So here's my thing. It happened during the pandemic, and they put everything on hold. They told, how I am when it comes to...
Yeah, put his divorce on hold.
So you know how I am when it comes to paperwork, right? Because I learned my lesson the hard way with the whole child support thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Zoom court. They said they literally said out of their mouth, your divorce will be final April 8th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember her birthday. Is it 6th?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So it's the 7th because it was the day after her birthday.
Okay.
So they say your divorce will be final April 8th. Okay. I ain't do no research. I ain't know nothing. And then she calls me while I was at Ford. Like, we have our final divorce hearing. I thought we was already divorced. I didn't know. I thought I signed the paperwork. I signed the paperwork. But you know how I am with paperwork when it comes to... Because even now, when you do paperwork for us, I trust that you got it.
That trust is too...
I mean, you can't tell me I shouldn't have trusted my... Well, I guess I shouldn't have trusted my wife at the
You
time,
were
but
getting divorced. You don't trust the person that's... she's the op at that time. I'm not about to hold you up.
I mean,
regardless of how you want to think it. You guys...
To a certain extent, even if we were getting divorced, I would still trust you first, that you wouldn't do me dirty.
But you got to remember characters of people before you put your trust in people. You guys were already going through mess. Did you think somebody was going to peek through muddy water and spy dry land and be like, you know what? Even though we're going through this mess, when I do this divorce, I'm going to make sure he comes out on top too.
No, I didn't think she was going to make sure I came out on top. I just didn't think she would do me that bold, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying she was going to try to make everything fair, like, oh, minimal child support. I'm not saying that. I knew she was going to try to up the money. I just didn't think she was going to do me that bold, is what I'm saying.
It's like sometimes you got to go through it to know.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't think anybody like, because you don't go through a divorce every year, so you don't get good at it.
Yeah, this is true.
And I think it's like,
so they got lawyers.
Yeah, getting counsel and all those different things, but you made it through.
About to spit in my teeth. I guess. See, my whole thing. Are your parents? Are your parents married?
So my father's passed.
Okay, I'm
my
sorry.
parents weren't married.
So I feel like that was the biggest, I guess, communication gap between me and you.
Yeah.
Because I'm 31. My parents been married 35 years.
Mm-hmm.
Your parents got divorced when you were a kid. So, and you got divorced before I did. So technically you've been through it twice.
Yeah. So that's why I called yourself a baby divorce. Because I knew the early stage of baby divorce.
Because
there's early stages in divorce. Because I'm just basing it off of me. Like, you're still mentally have not separated yourself and not realized, like, this is no longer my husband, this is no longer my wife anymore. Y'all still trying to call each other for favors and stuff like that. You have not separated. And the complication of bringing other people in, like, you started dating, she was dating. Mm-hmm. If you're dating somebody and your ex-wife is like, come over and put together this bed set at 8 p.m. at night, like, come on. Come on. Let's go on family vacation.
But stuff like that, I knew what it was, but I don't know. I guess the whole Thanksgiving thing.
That was ridiculous. But
it didn't. So we were already dating, but I went with my ex-wife to visit her family for Thanksgiving because it didn't. I guess it just didn't click that you can't. Yeah, with the kids.
Driving in the car together.
It was Fort Wayne is 2.5 hours away. I got there in less than 2 hours. So it wasn't that much time spent together. I did 95 the whole way with headphones on. And we didn't stay. She stayed at her sister's house.
The thing about it is, it's not. I didn't know the details of everything. Oh, he thought they were divorced.
Yeah, that was in the time I thought we were divorced.
He thought they were divorced, and he had me with the okie doke.
I honestly, I didn't know. She told everybody I lied to her.
Who?
You.
I
didn't know.
I only say that because of that phone call. So let me explain something to you. When me and him first started dating, because we were talking for months before we started dating. When we first started, talking, and we were talking for months. That's why you
don't say months. October 24th was the first date.
Okay,
we got together November 22nd.
We were talking before October is what I'm saying.
Once a week.
Okay, exactly.
You suck at texting back. No, we were not talking.
So we were having conversations for months.
We're behind the stories.
When we started getting more serious, I told him, like, we had the deal. Like, you got 30 days. 30 days.
I said I didn't need 30 days.
Okay, he said he didn't need 30 days.
Because I don't feel like I owe anybody an explanation. That's why I didn't need 30 days. I just stopped responding to people.
He was going through a baby divorce. So I feel like it wasn't just about, we were honest. We were dating other people. We were dating with a purpose. We were dating other people. But he had 30 days to, okay. Whether you were dating the other girls with a purpose or not, there were other people in the picture. Mm-hmm. He had 30 days to get rid of everybody, including cutting, and making some boundaries with your ex-wife.
Which I did not do, and that's my fault.
So within those 30 days, I feel like he should have known that he was still married and said something to me, because I would not have dated a married man. I didn't find out that they were still married during that time frame until...
We was on the phone with DHS or something?
Child support. We were on the phone with child support. And this was like a year after divorce. We were trying to get the custody paperwork or whatever. And I was trying to tell him what to request. And then that's when the phone call. And the guy told him on the phone, the only thing I'm seeing is divorce paperwork from December 20. And he hung up.
I didn't hang up. I put it on mute.
You put it on mute.
I took it off speaker.
Whatever. He took it off speaker. I said, I'm sorry. He said December what? Because I was told
Yeah.
the divorce
They
happened.
said the divorce date was like December or something.
So what was the time frame between the time you guys filed and the final?
So the state of Michigan don't let you get divorced while you're pregnant. So we filed.
Found out she was pregnant.
Yeah, we filed. She moved to Indiana with her parents. Found out she was pregnant. So the first Zoom, they was like, y'all got to wait. Mm-hmm. So that was, what, 2019? No, Sky was born in 2019. So 2018 to 2021. Mm-hmm. Or 2020. Because of during COVID. So, yeah, 2018. So basically it took 2 years. But after Skylar, it didn't take that long. Or at least I thought it didn't. Because Sky was born in June, and then they said we was divorced April 8th. And then I found out it was December something. I was like, I didn't know that. Mm. But that's my fault for not paying attention.
And I know I'm the interviewee, but I always wanted to ask you guys this. So, because and not that you guys got together immediately after your situation or whatever, but, obviously you guys moved on. And, man, I see y'all kingdom couple. And I applaud you guys, by the way, on this podcast. I think more married couples need to, just need to hear from other married couples, et cetera. But especially kingdom couples. But, what did you guys see in each other that kind of gave you that courage? Like, I'm ready to do this again, or this the one?
You want to go first?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
You know I got mine. I gave you the answer already. You want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Because you know my answer.
Because I know a little bit about, you guys' situation. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have, been so willing to move on unless you felt like it was the right person. Put it that way.
I don't know. I just feel like at the time, like when we first started dating, it just felt right. It was just a feeling. And he always makes this joke because he always used to tell me, like, oh, you're going to fall in love on accident. I think I was a little more resistant because I had to make sure.
Big Virgo energy. No,
okay.
I'm just
I had to make sure, I got kids. I had a daughter, and, like, he had kids. Like, I had to think about bringing them together. And especially, like, if we bring our kids together and something was to happen, we would be separating our kids. Like, that's a thought that goes through my mind. So, I just feel like when we had, like, the first activity of our kids, like, the blending of how we interacted with the kids, everything was just very comfortable. And, so it didn't feel off. It was more so like it was a feeling. And there was a lot of prayer.
We didn't meet kids for a while.
Yeah, we didn't meet kids, yeah.
I met her kids on accident.
Accident-ish, but, yeah.
You said the screen was out the window. I went to fix the screen outside, and your son was in the window like, hi. Accident.
But bringing the kids, everything was natural. Everything felt comfortable. Nothing felt forced. And, like, we had a good relationship. And also didn't feel like somebody was just trying to impress me, like, be nice to my kids to impress me. And it was like we treat our kids, we treat our kids like they were our own. Like, we all had, his daughter was one when I met him. So, like, we had a close relationship then. I don't want to say the kids brought us together, but.
No.
It was
because the kids ain't meet for a while.
Yeah, the kids didn't meet for a while, but I just feel like that solidified it for me. Like, I was like, okay, this is it.
They saw each other, but when I was coming, children's church, man, when I was coming, you were still sitting. I mean, before we started dating, you were still sitting on the other side, and I had my three in the back for the boys watching Sky while I was on the drums, and then I went to New Grace.
But then the occasional times where church, everybody go downstairs, and the kids, so they've been around each other before then. So So it wasn't like these are just new people.
But aside from the kids,
the initial connection happened at Reach or not at?
The initial connection happened at Reach. It did. The initial connection, because remember the tap?
Starting.
He hates the shoulder tap, and he knows it. So I
didn't tap your shoulder like that.
So here's the thing. So you know how he goes when he finished playing? He goes downstairs and he goes the back way. So the first couple of times, I would be coming in, like if I was coming in late or whatever, if I had to take the kids, I was late. Always. I would come in late, I'd be in the basement, I go to the bathroom first, make sure I'm good, go back upstairs. And we would bump into each other, downstairs, and he would say hi. I started being on time more, so he came upstairs one day because we didn't pass each other by, and
No, you were coming up the step. I was coming from the basement. You was coming in the door, so you were late.
Okay,
whatever. You were coming up the steps, and I just hit you with one of these, hey. You act like I was like, excuse me, ma'am.
He tapped me.
No, I didn't.
He tapped me.
No, I didn't.
Y'all knew each other from being around. I mean, y'all knew of each other.
Because we did work together.
Yeah.
We knew of each other, but it wasn't.
She didn't like me back then because I was dealing with somebody else. And according to her, I introduced my ex-wife as my wife at the time. We weren't together.
He did. So
I don't remember that.
I remember, because I told you, I remember the outfit you had in your hand.
It's crazy because I found a picture of Joey in the outfit.
So we worked at Von Mar together. We worked in the mall. I worked in the juniors department. He was on the maintenance team. Yep. So I was pregnant with Sebastian at the time, and she was pregnant with Joey, their older one. Okay. So we were upstairs. We bumped into each other upstairs. I was putting my leave paperwork in because I was about to pop. Yeah, put my leave paperwork in. I said hi. He introduced me to her.
Pregnant women get to talking.
Yeah, you could. I didn't know because I was just another pregnant woman. He comes up, and I was like, "Oh, hi," because I've seen him around the store before, and he's been nice. Like he made sure he put the boxes on top, so I didn't have to bend over and stuff. Like he was nice to me. So
I wasn't flirting back then.
Yeah, we weren't flirting. We just knew
being
each
nice
other.
because I had pregnant. I knew how it was.
So he goes, "This is my wife, such and such," and then I was like, oh, "Okay." So
I probably could have said, "This is my girl," or something. Just
no,
real
he
quick.
said, "I promise you."
I said wife.
I promise you, he said wife.
We weren't even together. She was living with a whole nother dude.
I understand that now, but when we talk about it now, but he introduced her because he was trying to save face. He didn't want to see it. So the next time we bumped into each other, I introduced him to my ex-husband, and then the third time, so my son, he didn't like to take bottles, so they always had to bring the baby to the mall so he can nurse. So we were at the mall. We were in the middle of the mall, and we were by the play place. We see him with another girl from the job. Canoodling. So me and my ex-husband, we do a double take. We like, ain't he married? I said, he said that girl was his wife. So now we like, I don't respect him. I'm like, oh, no. I just, it was so beneath. I was so mad. I was just like, I can't believe him. I thought we had not a positive couple because we were looking for positive like married friends because that's when we were hanging out with Ashley and her husband, the one that passed. Oh yeah. Yeah. So we were looking for positive married couples, and then when we saw that, we like, man, come on now, any black? Oh my gosh, like it just ruined the whole image for me. I was so upset. I didn't forgive him for years. Like even when they got
that was the first thing we talked about when I finally moved out my ex-wife's house and DM'd you. That was the first thing we talked about. You was like, so what was that happening back in 2013?
I did not respect you, sir. I had to tell him because I had no respect for him as a person. I promise you. Oh my God. And then it didn't help the story from the girls. Oh, he's gonna leave his wife for me. It was like, oh, no.
I don't even know why she told you that because I didn't tell her that. I told you I would never leave her for you. That's crazy. That's hilarious.
I can't take you today.
That's hilarious. I did. Off the glass.
Oh, okay. Anyways, what was your you knew I was the one moment?
I can't remember which car date it was, but we had the conversation about 50-50.
Oh, okay.
We was talking about like this whole podcast era. Oh, my man gotta be making 6 figures. All this other. Listen, I think I explained to you like it's my job as your future husband to provide the necessities. If I got it extra, it's yours. If I ain't got it, I'm not obligated to give you hair and nail money when bills is behind. And you was like, oh, absolutely, I 100% agree. I said, yes, Lord.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
I live in a realistic mindset.
I'm talking about I've dealt with girls that she would expect my account to go negative to make sure she was good. I'm like, girl, you make more money than me. You think I'm about to put my account in negative so your toes is white? Get out my face. I got kids. What?
Man, I think that's why, I think, you had mentioned like the podcast and, conversations with around relationships. You know, I think that, you know, at the end of the day, man, it's about making that relationship work, right? Mm-hmm. You know, we are in the social media age, so you are able to kind of like compare your relationship to everybody else's or, you know, whatever. And I think that's why you have a lot of relationships that's, you know, going awry now because everybody's comparing themselves to everyone else.
Absolutely.
You know, my parents, you know, were married for 40 years before my dad passed away. And, you know, both my mom and my dad, you know, worked outside the home. And in my family, you know, I didn't. I mean, not everyone was married in my family, like extended family, but there were a lot of marriages in my family. And I didn't experience a whole lot of divorces around me. Some, but not a whole lot of divorces around me. But I've never, and I've been around a lot of married couples, you know, back in the day, and, you know, I never heard couples talk about some of the things that, you know, we talk about now. Yeah. You know, and so, you know, not saying that, you know, those aren't important going into a relationship, but I ain't never heard my parents, you know, like I never heard my mom, you know, say some of the things that some of the women say today. I never heard my dad say some of the things that, you know, certain men say today. I just never heard it. It was kind of like, we in this together. Yeah. I mean, they could be fighting about something like cats and dogs, or they was going to work together, you know, to be successful, you know, to make sure the household move forward and, you know, and go forward or whatever. So, and not saying that, you know, those conversations aren't good to have, because I think expectations up front are good to talk about. But at the end of the day, you know, I think we all looking for, you know, partnership and a teammate, you know. Yeah. And you may be the only one working, or your wife stay home, but you still need to, you know, I mean, my wife was a stay-at-home mom for a period of time or whatever, but that don't necessarily mean that she wasn't contributing. I mean, you know, she was still a teammate. You know, right. She was still a partner. She was doing a lot, so I could do, you know, the part that I played. So I think that's the biggest thing, is like both parties like playing their part so that that family is successful. That's the biggest thing. So yeah, I feel you on that. Some of the conversations that are today, they kind of counterproductive towards, you know, having successible families and just winning. You know, at the
and
end
the
of
whole
the day.
gender role thing too.
Yeah.
Like I hate dudes that they go out and work. Now, mind you, some people do work 16 or more hours at certain jobs. But when guys be working regular 8-hour shifts, sitting down all day, you think you ain't got to come home and do nothing because you're the only one that work? That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy to me.
I mean, you do whatever it takes to, you know, make that family successful. You know what I mean? You do whatever it takes. You know, it's good to have roles in the sense of like, hey, you're better at this. You know what I mean? So, you know, ultimately, you're going to be the go-to person for this, or I'm the go-to person for that.
Absolutely.
That's just good because, like, you know, you can't put a basketball on a team and have all point guards.
Right.
You know, somebody got to play forward. Somebody play position.
I still feel like it still got to be some type of compromise because.
Oh, absolutely.
So, you know, the kids might like bath time better with mom.
And seasons change.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah,
but, you know, the kids might like bath time better with mom, but mommy tired. I'm about to give you a bath today. Let's go.
Yeah, for sure. Seasons change, so you do whatever it takes to, you know, make sure that you know, that family goes forward and moves forward. So, I mean, the stuff that I never heard my parents talk about this stuff. Like, I never heard my dad. I never heard my dad was like, I ain't washing the dishes because I'm a man. You know, like, I never heard it. You know, so things that people talk about, I just never, you know, it's like, man, I just saw two people who did whatever it took to make sure the family, you know, was successful. Now, they had, you know, my mom didn't do a whole lot of stuff outside, and my dad didn't do a lot of inside, but it didn't mean that they didn't do it when it needed to be, you know, to be taken care of, you know, so.
I think the kids see both of us everywhere. Like, if I'm cutting the grass, you in the garden. Yeah. If you cooking, I'm helping the dishes, cleaning the kitchen, something.
Yeah, you know, so. Yeah. I mean, even when my ex-wife, rather, when she went home, you know, to be with the kids, it wasn't like I said, like, well, you need to be there. It was something where, because we had our kids back to back to back, it just made the most economical sense at that time for her to stay at home. So it was a benefit to everybody, you know, at home. But like I said, it wasn't like she was at home twiddling her thumbs either.
Right.
You know, so we both were working on the success of the family. So yeah, I feel you, man. You definitely got to have a partner.
Balance.
Yeah. a lot of people go into relationships on like thinking about what they're gonna receive, as opposed to like
what they can give.
You know, yeah, like what are you giving as well? So because it's always gonna be a reciprocity for any relationship to function at its highest capacity. It's a reciprocity. You know what I mean? So
I think that's the main thing I learned from therapy. The first therapy, service, active service. That's the main, not the main, but that's high up on the list of important things in a relationship or marriage. Like you're supposed to do everything you can for each other.
Yeah.
And not just do something to expect something back.
I think for men, for most of us, I can't speak for every man, but most of us, I probably speak for you, Max. Most of the men I know, like you get your joy actually out of serving your family.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. So it's not it's not like a chore or something where you get your That was classic.
Okay.
You know, you get your joy out of it.
We're not talking about 12 a.m. coming to bed and you wait till I get comfortable to ask me to go get you some water. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're talking about.
But you know what I mean? You get a joy out of seeing, your spouse relaxed, or, them receiving and they better,
Exactly.
No, I do. I'm laughing because you don't. Black moms hate to see somebody relaxing, whether it be kids or husband.
Well, I'm talking about men. I'm talking about men,
yeah,
right?
exactly.
So, yeah.
No, I agree with him. I just laughed because I thought about you. Y'all hate this.
It's not that I hate to see people relax. It's just.
We talked about that on the last episode. When I'm asleep, the difference when I'm sleeping,
like everybody
got.
It's like the shift is not over.
Exactly.
Because if I'm cleaning up, get up. Come on. Like, let's get this done.
I'm sorry to cut you off. Continue. Cause
That was hilarious. Oh, man. Y'all hilarious.
I have one last question before I guess we wrap up. No, we got time. We can do whatever we want. It's our house.
Anyways, before we wrap up, what's your question, baby?
No, because it's my thing. So now in the divorce stage, how do you, I don't know how to ask that because we had the conversation. Oh, I'm so sorry. We had the conversation before about nature versus nurture. Like in your household, like you provide nurture and provide, funds, in your household. And in your ex's household. So do you guys have separation and boundaries as far as, I guess, how did we have this conversation, Maxwell? Bring it out, because we were just talking about this.
I remember the nature versus nurture.
I mean,
comparing households?
Yeah, comparing households. Like, do you guys have like separation and boundaries as far as your households go? Like, is she actively involved in what goes on in your household? Or are you actively involved in what goes on in her household? Or you guys have separation as far as like what goes on in my house with the kids is my house and so forth?
I think my situation might be a little different. I think that's maybe good to discuss. Even when you do kind of like you have like a divorce settlement or different things, it's good to discuss or whatever. I didn't, like I said, my wife is my ex-wife rather. I didn't necessarily not have no trust with my kid. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, I don't know what's going on over there, but I've never, not trusted her with my kids, and I think it's vice versa. Mm-hmm. So we haven't had that kind of like, what was going on in her home or my home or whatever. I think there's times when, we need each other's help. You know what I mean? And sometimes those things are communicated, whether it be like with a particular child or whatever. Because you got to think, we got 4 kids. So, she has the majority of the time. So she has 4 kids by herself most of the time. Whereas like, now I was a very active father. I was there every day or whatever. So, there's, maybe times when, we may communicate vice versa on like, what's something that's going on with the kids per se, like, and I got teenagers now, so that's a different ball game.
We have one next year.
Yeah.
This year.
Yeah, but I mean, my situation, it wasn't like, you got to go to bed at 9 o'clock. I put my kids to bed. Make sure you keep the rules over here and keep the rules over there. We didn't necessarily have that, but I do recognize that not every person is in that situation. And there might have to be, more discussions and, more agreements that's made because the two households may run so different that it throws off the equilibrium of of the children, So if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. Because, even with dealing with our situations, like, I don't try to control what goes on in the next household, that's not my business. But it's just like, if we have rules and stuff for our kids, like, I feel like those should be followed no matter what household and stuff like that. I feel like that's the standard.
I feel like that's not even household rules. That's just our combined rules for the kids that we've been talked about throughout them growing up. And then now stuff has changed. Yeah. So that's the only thing.
Yeah.
That's both of our problems with both of our other.
Because somebody has to be the fun parent in these situations.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm still the fun parent, but I've always been the disciplinarian. And I feel like I'm still the same. I might be less strict. No, I feel like I'm the same disciplinarian that I was back then. But now that stuff has changed and other people act different, I don't know. It's just weird.
I think when you kind of like, I think that is a blessing on, having, even in a co-parent situation, you have a blessing. You have two people who do love God, even though you may have made some mistakes in the past with each other, you're going to continuously grow, right? Mm-hmm. So with that being said, it's like, ultimately, I'm going to put the better good, above my own personal preference, because it's not about, it's not about me getting my way or you getting your way or whatever. Now it's about the children. It's about, and like I said, I know every situation ain't like that. But,
we don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, but
it's real petty around these parts.
But I just think that's the ideal situation. Right. That's the ideal situation that, regardless of whether you're divorced or whatever, that you kind of control. I mean, things ain't gonna be 100% how you would do them because you're different people. You know what I mean? So obviously there's different things, but it's not so different that I'm kind of like, I have to interject on, what she's doing or vice versa, or we can't, kind of ask for each other's help. We don't, it very rarely do, she might reach out to me and need something, or I reach out to her, vice versa, or whatever. Most times when I reach out to her is because I'm working and the kids at my house, and I'm like, hey, can you, take to here, or do something like that because I can't get back because I'm busy, or something like that, and vice versa, because we, both are still busy in ministry and with our jobs and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, man, it's about, my thing is like, I like to win. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can't win, like not working together. And if you have a, regardless, even if you divorce, you got to work together. So, because at the end of the day, now the win is not necessarily the marriage per se, because that's over and done with. Now the marriage is like, how healthy can our children be despite despite this, right? I want my girls to still want to get married, even though their parents went through a divorce. I want them to have a positive, viewpoint on, biblical marriage. And also, even though, we got a divorce, I still want them to desire that. And, so with that being said, regardless of the other situation, I got to respect their mom. She has to respect me. We got to be on the same page about certain things. That's not, because at the end of the day, kids pick up on stuff, everything. Yeah. They pick up on everything. And like I said, not everybody's situation is like that. But, ideally you want to kind of be able to work towards that. So, so the kids can win and everybody can win at the end of the day. So, because it affects our relationship. You know what I mean? It affects,
We know.
So. Almost wasn't a marriage.
Yeah. So.
But I got it together though. Yeah. Calm down.
Oh. Okay.
Calm down.
Would you ever get married again?
I'm just focused on my purpose.
I like to live it.
This is the truth. I'm just, I'm focused on my purpose.
He said God gonna have to place a wife at his doorstep. The Lord himself told me, you gotta marry me.
God is good. And that will wrap up this. Nah, man. I mean, listen. Listen. Marriage is dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing. Like, and I'll just say this. Like I said, I mean, I've rebounded. In certain ways. Other ways, I'm still trying to rebound in other areas. Ain't got nothing to do with what I went through or whatever. But, obviously, moved on. And, I'm pastoring the church is doing well again. And I'm able to have opportunities I didn't have a few years ago when I was going through all of this. But, man, marriage is dope, man. And just, like I said, if having a wife, a man who finds a wife finds a good thing. There is a favor that you have as a married man that you do not have as a single man. I'll tell any single man that. I don't care how successful you are or whatever. There's just a different favor that you have over your life. So, yeah, man, I think that, I think you have to be open for it. But right now I'm just focused on my purpose, and whatever God does, He does.
Okay.
I agree.
God got to do it.
I agree. It is a certain favor. I just need that favor to hit these pockets.
I mean, it will. It will. Okay.
Well, we appreciate you for coming.
Appreciate y'all. Man, definitely. Sky's the limit. Y'all bringing positivity back, and especially because of y'all story.
Yeah.
How y'all navigated.
And still navigating.
Very, very young. How y'all both are, doing it God's way. And it's a bunch of couples getting married at Reach Church. Y'all kind of kicked it all off. So I just want to say that.
I know.
It's like every other week.
I had a conversation with that. I'm like, I feel like people are following me because everybody didn't start detailing cars until I did. I ain't hear about nobody painting houses until I did.
Okay.
Everybody around me get married after I got married.
Nobody knew we were married. Technically, nobody was supposed to know. Like, 'cause we still haven't.
We still ain't had no wedding.
Our wedding.
Yeah.
Remember we told you? Because I know you were mad. You thought you missed out.
I was real mad.
And when I told you, I said, look, we
But I
literally was
understood
at
it,
home.
though,
We
yeah.
just said, we just need to get right with God first. And then, everyone else, we'll celebrate with y'all later. But we needed to get right with God first on our own. And that's what we did.
That ain't how the first conversation went.
What?
You said, so you would marry me right now then. I said, come on.
That's how it happened? Okay.
That was the first conversation.
That
And then you
wasn't.
Googled the court and you was like, they closed. I was like, yeah, thought so. And then that
Wasn't
Monday,
trying to get
that next
married.
week, we got married.
Yeah, we were arguing that week. That wasn't even a good week to get married. We were engaged.
But that's how I knew it was real, though. Because even in the midst of the fight, we still wanted to marry each other.
I would say this too about just because we've and Lola, you've been there, even from the early years, and we've like 2014 we started, and our church was really started with young adults. Even though we've had all age groups, the young adults were the ones who really kind of carried our church, grew our church, and invited their friends and served in ministries and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and
I was there when I was single. I remember.
Not too much.
Two things. Like when I went through, one of the reasons why I felt like stepping down from ministry, it just felt so horrible, is because we just had so many young people there, young couples or whatever, and I didn't want that to, just kind of deter them. I felt like I had failed.
You feel like they thinking, hey, if my pastor can't get it right, then how am I going?
Yeah, and man, then too, over the year, like especially in the early years, a lot of people were new in Christ, like were babies in Christ, and you kind of watch them grow, whatever. But
Baby saints.
as as a pastor, though, you kind of always, not necessarily always see them as babies, but you just remember where they started from. Mm-hmm. And I will say this, like, when we went through what we went through, it was no drama from the church. It wasn't, I know people, talked or wondered or whatever, but I didn't go through all the drama that, people went through. Nobody, how can I say it? Nobody shamed me. Right? Nobody shamed her. Nobody put shame on our family, our children, anything like that. When I came back, I mean, it was amazing. So it made me like, man, like all this preaching and teaching, it's like, wow, yeah, it's like people have really been growing and listening. It was just love and support and all that good stuff, whatever. But then also just to be able to see all these young couples over the last 3 years who, came into the church now that's getting married. I'm traveling and doing weddings, for people and stuff like that. It's like, man, it's God is good, so
jealous.
Yeah,
I had the exact opposite experience at my old church.
But I think y'all kind of kicked off this new wave of engaged couples, man. I can't keep up with them, so and then and I didn't do any marital counseling for. I just started doing marital counseling literally.
I remember I asked you when we were figuring our stuff out. I'm just not doing it right now.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Back then, I wasn't going to no pastor, because in my mind, no disrespect to you, just in my mind, I felt like pastors only tell you what the Bible say. I know what the Bible say.
Yeah.
But I even told you, like, when we had counseling with him, we had prayer and we read the scripture, but we had real conversation.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily like just what the Bible say. I think that some people they have a hard time applying the Bible to real life.
That too.
Because you want to stay in the Bible. It's just some people like they just gonna give you the scripture, but they're not gonna apply it to. Because if the Bible is like, it's real life characters in the Bible, they went through real life. Sometimes we water it down to act like it was dip. No, they went through stuff just like we went through, and so I think that the issue is just kind of like applying it. But just to have couples now, like, man, yeah, Pastor Jay, like I know you don't want to, but we really want you to be the one that counsel us or whatever, and kind of getting back into that, because I used to love to do that before, and so it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. So God is good. But this new wave, I think y'all kind of started off in what year was it, 2021 with y'all?
We got together. Well, we got together in 2020.
2021.
No, we got together in 2020.
I mean, yeah, you're right. 2020.
Yeah, exactly.
Felt like 15.
We got engaged in 2022.
Yes.
And then we snuck and got married a couple weeks after that.
Yeah.
A couple months.
Wait, yeah, we got engaged. We got married in August. So yeah, it felt like a couple. Yeah, we got married in August.
We got married in 2023.
No, we got married in.
Enzo was born in 2022. We did not get married August 2022.
Did we really?
Enzo was with us.
So then we got engaged in 23. When did we get engaged?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
I'm not good with anniversary dates.
2023.
I tell you, I'm probably with that, like, that stereotype of men forgetting anniversaries is literally me. And I try so hard. I try. I'm just not. I'm not there. I will remember your birthday.
Really?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Right. Anyways, before we forget, we got a gift for Pastor Jay.
I'll take brides.
We got a gift. Ignore the bag, because that's all I have.
Appreciate it.
That's crazy.
I appreciate it. Thank y'all. This was tough. Nice. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Go ahead and show it off.
My favorite. How you know my color?
Got the right size and everything.
Right size and everything. Look, they know they passed.
I was like, he looks about large. Yeah, go ahead and get that.
I'm wearing this on a Sunday.
Okay.
That means we got to wear ours.
Yeah.
Know which one. I'll probably wear it.
Okay.
Definitely put it on.
Yeah, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all.
No problem.
You got one more little thing in there. It's a little small token.
What's it?
It's a journal.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yes.
Write down them thoughts.
Need it.
Before we go though, I do want to say, when you did get divorced, I know you was going through stuff, but I feel like I had like a better appreciation of you because it was honest. Mm-hmm. I'm not used to like the churches that we grew up in and how we came up. I'm not used to people, being honest. Like they'll try to hide it, they'll try to lie about it, they'll try to fake the funk. But it was like you were actually going through stuff that like we have been through.
Right?
Because I've never seen any of our pastors, our ministers
be
get
divorced, even though some of them need to be.
Yeah, we've heard scandals and we've seen this and that, and there's things, but we've never seen anyone just say like it just didn't work and it's okay. and and build from there. And I'm glad you came back. Because when you said you was taking some time, we was like, he ain't come back. He about to find us a new pastor.
I was on Facebook. Who need a drummer?
Because we got my new church. Because this ain't gonna work. I said, please don't leave us in somebody else's hands.
They've been trying to get me to come to the embassy for the longest. So
I
was gonna visit,
around.
but I ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, but we had faith in you. We just was hoping.
I mean, it's just, obviously, that particular time, I'm grateful for the support, and grateful people supported her through it or whatever as well. Supported our family, just in general. But yeah, it was, I was, because I ain't love nothing more than my family. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was definitely, hurt, whatever. And I wasn't perfect. There's things I would look back like, man, I should have did this better. I should have did that better. But you take all that, you just move forward with it. But I do believe like I'm a better man because I went through it. Mm-hmm. I'm a better Christian because I went through it. I believe I'm better pastor. I'm more empathetic as a leader. Mm-hmm. I'm more patient with people, now. I think, not that I ever passed it for the wrong reasons, but I truly pastor it because I love people. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about putting my name, all that with the divorce and losing this, not seeing my kids, stuff like that. I lost all ego, like God stripped all ego from me. And so now it's just like, I just enjoy waking up and, doing what I do, loving my children and, loving the church or whatever. So yeah, I'm grateful y'all had me back because a lot of people, they would have,
Counted you out.
Yeah, would have counted me out. So
not the fortunes.
Yeah, I appreciate
you.
You
fortune yet, but
Okay. Thanks.
So we appreciate you for coming on the show.
Appreciate y'all. Keep it up. Keep up the good work.
So shout out the church's Instagram and social media.
Reach Church. We're located at 401 South Adams Street, Ypsilanti, Michigan, 10 o'clock a.m. We have service, and our Instagram is Reach Church A2Y on Instagram, and then you can find us on Facebook at Reach Church A2Y as well. So like us, follow us. Come and visit, man. People, when they come to Reach Church, they be surprised when they get there or whatever. It's in Ypsi or whatever, but they be surprised when they get there. So there's some great things that's going on in Ypsilanti. So God's doing some great things. So
absolutely.
We'll have the information down there.
Yeah,
somewhere right there. All right. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Forever Engaged. We'll see you next time.
Next week.